Hey, this is Cassie, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout outs to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Hola, habla Cindy, está viendo Deportes TV.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, MATCHROOM CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn trades heavy blows with top-ranked CEO and promoter Bob Arum, legendary promoter Bob Arum. They go back and forth. As Bob Arum stated, he's glad that this fight between VASYL Lomachenko and Luke Campbell is going to be aired in the States on ESPN Plus, and in the UK it's going to be aired on Sky Sports. He then goes on to state that the zone is a super failure. He says it's a disaster. Eddie Hearn then responds to him by saying, "No, Bob, you're a disaster." Bob Arum he responds to that. He says, "No, you're a disaster. The only thing the zone has going for it is Saul Canelo Alvarez, and that's not even your fighter. But Saul Canelo Alvarez is doing better on one fight than any of the events that Eddie Hearn has put on in its totality, in its entirety," right? He's saying that overall, one event that Saul Canelo Alvarez and Golden Boy put on the zone has topped anything, and you could put it together that Eddie Hearn, MATCHROOM, and DAZN have put together in its totality. Eddie Hearn then responds by saying, Bob Arum is ludicrous. He's out of his mind. He says he's a disaster. He says Bob Arum is angry at the last situation, the last fight he had in his city. He's stating that, there's all types of issues going on with Bob Arum and his promotional company. He says that, Bob is putting on a fight that's going to be a disaster. And Mexican Independence Day weekend, he's putting on Tyson Fury versus Otto Wallen. He said that's going to be a complete flop. It's a disaster. I think Bob's a disaster. At the moment, they've just announced last week that his Los Angeles event last week sold 1,400 tickets. They gave away 2,800 tickets. Now that's a disaster for a sport of boxing. Bob's very good at clouding the picture without noticing that he's producing so much dross, meaning garbage, right? Bob Arum said, "Competition is always good for boxing, but look at the numbers. It's been a disaster. They're getting no traction with any of the fight. Except. He said expect, but he meant except for one involving a fighter Eddie Hearn has nothing to do with, and that's Saul Canelo Alvarez. Canelo's got more numbers on his own than any of Eddie's fights combined." Wow. So they continue to go back and forth with one another per event that they put on together. We know that they put on events, other events, as of recently, and they continue to be at one another's throat. This is good for the sport of boxing. It's entertaining, right? At the end of the day, I know a lot of people are going to look and they're going to state that, they're going to pick their side, right? They're going to pick what side, they're going to side with. Whatever their favorite, whatever promotional company that their fighter is fighting on, their favorite fighter, that's the side that they're going to pick. If Tyson Fury and Terrence Crawford and Lomachenko is your favorite fighter, then that's the side you're going to pick. If, Demetrius Andrade, Anthony Joshua, Luke Campbell, any of these fighters that's MATCHROOM fighters or your favorite fighters, that's the side you're going to side on. But at the end of the day, it's entertaining, to see the promoters go back and forth. As long as they make the fights that the fans want to see, I'm all for it. It's entertaining, right? It was entertaining back in the days to see Bob Arum go back and forth with Don King. Now we have multiple promoters going back and forth. We got Frank Warren, we got Bob Arum, we got Eddie Hearn, We got Leonard Ellaby for for Mayweather Promotions, right? Him and Eddie Hearn were going back and forth just 48 hours ago, right? You know, so it's good for the sport of boxing. Oscar De La Hoya, you know, delves in every once in a while, and Al Heyman doesn't get involved, right? So for that side, you would say Leonard Ellaby, right? So, you know, it's good for the sport of boxing. It's entertaining for the sport of boxing. At the end of the day, nobody truly knows the actual numbers that the zone are doing because they're never released. You know, we see the actual numbers that PBC do. We see the actual numbers that Top Rank do. We see the actual numbers that, you know, any of these other promotional companies are doing. We don't see the actual numbers that the zone is doing. And that's not by coincidence, that's actually by design. But hey, I love this, man. It's exciting for the sport of boxing. You know, it's exciting when you see the boxers go back and forth via social media, you know, in person. You know, we saw Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence cross path. That was exciting. You know, we seen Deontay Wilder jump in the ring with Luis Ortiz. You know, that was exciting. You know, we seen Jarrell Big Baby Miller and Joshua go back and forth. We seen Deontay Wilder and Dillian White and Anthony Joshua. That's what builds up the sport. It draws attention to the sport. It sells the sport, you know, and it even sells the sport when you get rival promoters going back and forth. So this is good for the sport of boxing. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV. All one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Road. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Bob Arum, Top Rank CEO and promoter. MATCHROOM CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn trade heavy words and heavy blows at today's press conference between Luke Campbell and VASYL Lomachenko. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
The Blue Blood